Welcome back, my friends, to another fine episode, hopefully, of DEFCON 2, which is part of the DEFCON 5 series. We're taking a look at a little reaction, a little bit of meta-analytical, mathematical sneaky peek at the team video that I posted the other day about Chakra, my Kinetics defender with Radiation Blast and Psionic Mastery. The DEFCON series, we're taking a look at defenders and controllers in a head-to-head comparison of 5 different supporting sets that are common to these two classic archetypes, and we're trying to do some analysis, some statistics, taking a look and figuring out which of these archetypes might be superior as far as the support role in the game. And so we're looking at these 10 different characters. We are currently on number 8, Mr. Chakra here. And after each pair, I go ahead and do some statistics, some analysis, come up with a verdict, and ultimately I'm going to compile all this data into one big lump sum of mathematical mastery and answer that question. But today we're going to take a look at the deep dive of this video. So let's go ahead and pop on the headset and pull up the video that I posted. Now, I haven't seen this thing since I was there running it. And so let me do this. Let me get this thing set up. Here we go. Look at that. And one more second. Alrighty, all my tools in place. So if you haven't seen me do this before, what I'm going to embark on here is we're going to be illustrating and telestrating and educating and sharing with you my firsthand experience from this particular set of missions. And I'm going to point out some things that were good and bad and ugly and use this as a qualitative analysis for this particular character and his data. And then while I'm doing that, I want to occasionally pop over to some actual statistic charts and tables that I put together from Chakra and his run and point out numerically what I was seeing qualitatively here. So that's kind of the plan. And where we're going to start here is just looking at the team that has been assembled here. And I'm going to run through this in the video itself. So I'm going to cut to my voiceover in a second, but my voice under, I guess. What we are looking at is Chakra. That's me down there. That's my defender. And he is level 50 with tier 3s, I think, in all. And I think he might be, I think he's only tier 3 in everything. I don't think he's any tier 4. So he's tier 3 for all 6 incarnates. Then we've got ourselves 4 other players, because that's the whole point of the DEFCON 5. We have 5 total teammates here, of team members. We've got a tank. That's Wednesday. Wednesday Woe. If you haven't seen her channel stuff, I don't know what you've been doing with yourself. But if you haven't seen it, I'm going to put another link to her channel in the description of this video. You can go check it out. She's got some fun, cool videos. And I think she's even going to be posting her own POV of this video in another day or two, because she's also recording what's happening. And between my video and my analysis and her video, you should have an awesome overview of what the heck happened this day and how that matters anything, if at all, to this character. And then we've got a pug. Angel Mentis is a blaster. I don't know this person. And then we've got Leo Cohortus. That was another one of the best of the worst crew. That is a cult that has been started by Wednesday on the Homecoming servers. Dark Meister, I think, is the global. And then Objet d'Art is coming on to the map in a second. And I believe that was another best of the worst character player. I don't remember the global on them, however. They joined us near the end there, so we're getting ready to rock and roll here. So let me go ahead and pull this up, because I am going to showcase at least as much of their builds, as it were, or information that I have. All right, we got our crew together. We got Wednesday playing her tanker, and powers are Dark Ice Leviathan. And she, I believe, had deactivated her incarnates. I don't know if she deactivated her alpha or not, but she unslotted them, at least didn't use them. We've got a pug by the name of Angel Mentis, Psi, Temp, Time, and Dark. She's vet level 48, a pug. She used her powers a few times. One of the things I'm trying to minimize is incarnate influence over these tests. I want to look at the buff sets as purely as I can, and the incarnates are strong enough that they kind of wash out everything if you have enough of them running. Now, I'm running them with my character because it's part of my build. It's part of what I'm trying to do with this character, which includes that buff set, that support set. But I'm trying to minimize any other influences from the other teammates aside from what they're just doing. So no other buff sets are on the team, and minimal incarnates. And I believe in our conversation we had, and I never just tell people, hey, don't use your stuff, but I just say minimize your use of incarnates. We're trying to see what my character can do. And most people respect that. And I don't think Angel used her stuff that often, but she does have incarnate abilities. We got Leo, who is on the best of worst. I think it's Dark Maelstrom. Meister, I think. Maelstrom. And then we grabbed Objet d'Art. That is, I think, a new arrival to best of the worst. Electric Earth. So let's do it. So it looks like everybody is fairly well built on this team. Leo was the lowest level. He's level 44 Scrapper, Savage Shield. Everybody else was Vet, and everybody else looks like they have set bonuses, so I'm assuming they've got IOs. So on paper, this is a pretty strong team. So let's see what happens. Best of worst, I think it's Dark Maelstrom, Savage Shield Scrapper, and then we grab Objet. All right, so the first mission is going to be an Arachnos mission. It's a tip, and we're supposed to beef down Weston Phipps. And it's one of these classic Arachnos bases. And so what you'll see is we come in. One of the things I'm trying to do, I mean, I've already got these guys buffed a little bit outside. Like Wednesday's got some buffs on her Angel, so does Leo. I can't buff myself, unfortunately, unless there's a enemy target, and I don't know if I buff Objet on the way in or not. But as soon as we get in, I start throwing more so I can double stack. So we're gonna go ahead and buff Angel. Got 2 on her now. Objet's gotten buffed now. Wednesday's getting buffed again. So everybody's set. I summon my pets, my lore pets, and I'm a big fan of pets for everybody now. Defenders, controllers, etc. You name it. I'm finding that they dish out a nice chunk of damage, so I'm trying to maximize that. All right, so I'm summoning mine, and as I do, I hear Wednesday taunting around the corner. So I haven't seen anything yet, so I don't know if there's something right around the corner here or not, but I just saw her go around the corner and taunt, and I just want to double check something else. So I think our Scrapper taking damage already. Yeah, so our Scrapper, Leo's taking damage already. So there's already been engagement with the enemy. You can see right here he's taking some damage. All right, so that's why I think Wednesday, normally Wednesday I don't think we just immediately jump in like that because she's probably seen my videos of me going off on people that dash in and just start attacking right away. But it looks like the enemy has taken the field. So I'm still kind of getting buffed up and ready. Blasters out front pretty far. Are you getting drained by something? Yeah, well, look, I think I got EMP'd, it looks like. Yeah, that looks like an EMP strike. Okay. So yeah, this Moo Guardian, I believe, just EMP'd. One little bit of risky thing is our blasters sort of out on an island by themselves. But I think Wednesday at this point has laid a taunt, and some people are coming in this way. So, all right, they're gonna get our sea legs under us here. All right, there's okay. Wednesday's down there. All right, so we had a couple enemies come towards us. That's where the EMP came down. Our tank is out front. Blaster's supporting. Blaster's being attacked. And now we're kind of getting together. Put my girls here on aggressive. One thing I noticed immediately, and I remember this for most of the evening, at least while Leo was on the team, is Leo's scrapper's taking a ton of damage. Sometimes you run with a scrapper and they're, like a tank. They just don't take a beating. But Leo, I remember, was taking a whole bunch of hits. And I think it's the problem with just shield defense. Unless you can get that, defense is capped and whatever with a bunch of set bonuses, it's really hard to use it as is, especially in this scenario because they are facing +5 enemies. This is probably one of my overall highest level teams. Usually I have more people that are in the situation like Leo is. Leo was, 43, I think it was, 44, I forget. But they're SK'd up to 49. But the enemies they're facing are 54. So they are -5 to the enemy. So if you have defenses that are effectively 5 levels lower than your enemies, the minion enemies, that's not a good scenario. And then the lieutenants are effectively +1 to that, and bosses are +2. So we're now looking at -6, -7 levels versus a boss. And we have a scrapper that is going to be playing melee, taking on some really dangerous foes that are using psi damage and toxic and that sort of thing, which is also hard to sort of get defenses to. So I think that's explaining why Leo starts taking a whopping beating. The other thing you're going to see is I take a decent amount of damage as well with this kineticist, which, to me is expected. It's a scary build. I think if you saw my solo run video, you'll have seen that. I ended up just aborting that because I was like, there's just no way. The character takes a ton of damage. Because he's, living fast and large. He is just gonna go on the offense, and he's gonna add a lot of buff to people, himself, his teammates, and he has to do it in melee range for the most part. So it's extremely dangerous for him. So I'm gonna take damage. I know that, but that's why you'll see I try to work my heal in almost as an attack, like every fifth click or something like that you'll see me do, like on an, if I'm going in the attack, I'll siphon, I'll blast, whatever, but probably every about fifth button or whatever I'm clicking, it's probably my heal, because I'm just assuming I'm going to take damage, so I fire that off. The other thing I have healing from, and I don't know if I mentioned this too much in my build video, but I have what is it, not the purple, it's the Call of Sandman, I think it is. Call of Sandman is in my Mass Hypnosis sleep, and that has a heal proc in it. So that actually fires off a decent chunks, like 100 some odd healing. So I've got that. I've got my transfusion. I'm also firing heals because I have, gosh, what is it? Panacea, I think it is, in my health, if I think is where I put it. So I'm getting some pops of healing there. So overall, I'm accepting the damage incoming is going to be high, and I'm accepting I have to heal myself, and I also have to accept that I need to try to debuff damage with Fulcrum Shift and Siphon Power. So I'm already assuming that's going to happen. I've got my Mez protection from Clarion, so I should be good there. All right, but you'll see me take damage, and I have to react quickly to this damage. Okay, Leo's taking damage. I'm trying to get some debuff explosions. Right there, I hit a heal. Still taking more damage. One thing I'd like to maybe look at is trying to get maybe some more regen or something like that in this character. Barely doing any attacking, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's something that I'll comment early is that I found, especially in this first mission, I'm not sure exactly what it was, and I'll see as we go through this, but I feel by the end of this, I was like 70-30 buff attack, which for me is abnormal. Those folks who've played with me know I'm more attacky, even though I'm, supporting or controlling or whatever, but I like to go on the attack and, you know, do damage at the same time as supporting team. But I'm spending an awful lot of time buffing. And it's not, I don't think it's anything like the team is doing. I think it was just my mindset going into this mission was I'm going to show kinetics, right? I'm going to be kinetics, going crazy. So I might be overdoing it. So I want to watch for that. But I feel that by the end of this, I was only maybe a 70-30. And the damage output on this mission, and I think overall was a little bit lower than what I was thinking. Let me, actually, I can pull that up real quick so you can see. 1 second. All right, here it is. So from the logged chat, I did the number crunches, and you can see here is my threat, my damage output numbers. And here are the 5 missions that we went on. And the first one is obviously the one we're on right now. Look, my damage output is just like 17,500. That's the second lowest I had. And the only one that was lower was a mission that was half as long. Mission 4 was only a 4-minute mission. Spoiler, this is the shortest, fastest run in totem of all of my missions and runs so far. Part of that is because I didn't run a Safeguard or Mayhem mission. That's my 5th one. And spoiler, if you haven't seen my run with Demos to see the reason why I had to abort running Safeguard and Mayhem for this particular series, this particular DEFCON 2, go and check that out. But anyway, it wasn't by choice other than I had to kind of do it now. But anyway, low damage output. The other ones I'm getting 50, 30-ish, so decent numbers. Although just overall, this was one of my lowest damagers, which is kind of oxymoronic because you think, oh, well, kinetics, right? You should be higher damage. However, it was the shortest runs. So arguably, maybe I was helping buff and boost damage so much the missions were going faster. We were speeding it because we were attacking faster with speed boosts, and that was shortening the time, and therefore I didn't have enough time to do more damage, or I didn't need to do as much damage because my teammates are doing more damage. I don't know that for 100%, but that's kind of my current hypothesis. But I did want to point this out that, hey, it's not just me feeling it at the time. When I went and crunched these numbers, I said, man, this is kind of low. And it was partially because I just wasn't full on attacking like I normally would. And I spent a lot of time throwing out buffs and whatever. Because I was being very defensive, I think. And part of it is I was just uptight when I was running this character. And I think part of that was sort of the nerves because had run it solo and I didn't have that very good solo run like I'd like to have before I start doing these. I was taking a lot of damage. I knew I was getting hit. I'm going to go and get hit again. I only know a couple people on the team right now. I know Wednesday. I know I can rely on her. The others I haven't played with before. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I'm not sure, are they good builds, bad builds? Who knows what you're going to run into? So you're kind of suspicious of yourself. And then you have, big old question mark on what your teammates are going to do. So you see me playing a little bit over buffy. I wouldn't say tentatively because I do go into melee, but I'm more concentrated on healing, transferences, fulcrum shifts rather than just blowing shit up. And I'm relying upon my pets to fill in some of the damage gaps. All right, let's go. Fire this up again. Nuke. I was doing a shit ton of damage with that frickin' atomic blast, though. I was loving that. Oh, by the way, keep a track of my damage numbers. If you don't see them, I have the damage bonus stat pops up here. So damage cap on defenders is 300. Right now I'm at 193. And when I get a big old juicy fulcrum shift, I'm pretty much capping my damage over and over. But I also have other means. Siphon powers can give me a damage boost. I'm running assault that gives me a damage boost, and I have the chance to build up in tactics as well. So I've got multiple places to get extra damage, and I also am running with aim. So I've got that click can give me damage. My assault's going to give me damage. Fulcrum shift is giving me damage. Siphon power is giving me damage. That fulcrum shift I think only landed one guy. I think most everybody else was dead. So I can get ease up to 300. You're going to see me damage capping a lot, at least myself. My goal, and this is where I was a little bit over Buffy, I think, is I was trying to get damage caps on other people too. Like I'm going, oh, Wednesday's in melee, Leo's in melee. Let me get them juiced up. My Dami was in melee a lot. He's playing Sai, I think it was. So that's what you're seeing me do more than I guess I should have. Buffing, buffing, sleep, irradiate, debuff. There goes your mighty stomp. I love mighty. My incarnate judgment. Alright, Blaster's playing in the back. Tanky's doing the tanky stuff. Scrappy doing scrappy things. Or Dami's earthy, so that's going to be up in the front. Yeah, Earth's Eye, I think. Yeah, I think overall the team was playing their roles pretty well. But I think this first mission, everybody's just sort of getting used to each other. You'll see what Wednesday was doing there with her tank. She's trying to pull around the corner. So I like, once tanks are going to do this sort of thing. You don't have to always do this, but you see her out front and she's taunting, right? And then the thing I like is when she taunts, she dips behind cover, breaking line of sight. That's going to cause the enemies to come and give chase. And that allows us to set up a kill box. The issue, of course, is I think she's the only one on the game plan of that one. The others were kind of standing here and started attacking. I don't know if I think our blaster's behind us still, but for the most part, that's kind of the idea that she was up to here. I'm hanging back. I'm waiting because they come around the corner. Then I go ahead and give a nuke city. Buffing again. Throwing out a heal. I'm taking damage, even though I didn't even do anything. Back the hell out of there. Get a siphon. Check myself here. More heals. Damage hit damage cap. Objet's taking a lumping. Not even sure what was hitting him. There goes my nuke. Go check to see if we figure out what's happening to Objet. Objet, where are you? Check myself here. Objet's is getting crushed. Right there, I thought they were dead. But somehow they flatline and don't die. I think they're behind me. Right there. Watch the man in the hat. They're to my right. They got static field down. They just dipped to my left. I'm playing Kinetics. I'm up front. I'm not looking where the hell people are behind me. Check myself here. Not sure what the hell happened to them. I think they got double whammied by somebody. But good recovery on them. I mean, a lot of times people just die in that scenario. Watch out for Mistress. Cybe. So Objet is electric. I forgot what their powers were. Let me double check this real quick. Hold on 1 second. All right, electric control Earth. That's what I was thinking there. Earth control for a second there. But with Earth Assault, you're gonna be in melee. And I like the combo. I think I actually have a Earth Electric or Electric Earth myself. Get damage capped again. I know our blaster was getting some good juicy nukes off. These guys are doing all the freaking heavy lifting. Wednesday's got a. She must be really getting close to cap. I see she's got like 7 fulcrum shifts and like 2 siphons on her or something like that right now. Still at the damage cap. So the thing with Kinetics is it is a reactive, like buffing. Not sorry, like it's a reactive save your bacon buff set. It's actively buffing, right? Your speed boosting, your increased density. But when somebody's in trouble or somebody needs help, it's reactive, right? There's no like, oh, I threw some shields on you, or there's a aura, or there's a patch you can stand in. It's like, oh crap, somebody's taking damage, transfusion, or oh no, somebody's almost out of endurance, transference, or hey, my teammates are in melee, let me go in and fulcrum shift now. So it's reactive in that sense. So it's not a great protective defensive set. It's a more proactive buff. Okay, we're all going in. Follow the leader, follow the tank, or follow me, whatever, and destroy. So you'll see a lot of damage being dealt to the team that I have to pick up the pieces later. More damage again. Pop a heal. It's got freaking nuked. Right back at ya. And that is something you're going to see, I think, explained by the data, because there was something else that was weird. Again, I'm going to pause this video. Let me go over to the stats. There was something that was, I noticed in here, it was the damage I took. So my resilience numbers here. Yeah, I took a decent chunk of damage, but I didn't have a lot of deaths. So I took, it wasn't terrible amounts of damage, but the fact that I was taking the damage and not dying was because there were these spikes of damage. So it wasn't like I was taking a bunch of damage consistently, constantly just getting hammered. It was everything was fine for a few minutes, also bam, there'd be some big spike of damage, and I'd have to heal back up. So I think that's what you see in the numbers combined with the video. So I think a lot of this, these damages, like right here, you can see in this mission, I'm gonna end up taking close to 6,000 damage, which was my second most. Even though it was a second, shortest mission out there, but I'm taking a whole bunch of damage, and the rate of the damage is 748. That's what you really want to look at, the amount of damage incoming per minute. But as far as deaths go, spoiler, I didn't die that much. Go up to the numbers here. You can see I do, again, spoiler, I am going to die once on this mission, but I only died a total of 2 times. So considering the amount of damage I was taking, I think it's because they were spikes. I was taking like one good juicy spike each mission. And if it killed me, then I got killed. If it didn't, then I was, fine. I was out of there. So I think overall the team was solid and I was playing solid. Just this is the way Kinetics runs. At least the way I have my build running. It's all offensive. I'm debuffing defense of the enemy, and I'm spiking my own team's damage and my own damage, and then I'm dropping bombs. That's it. There's no big old defenses, big old to hit debuffs. There is the minus damage, but that's really only for the people right around me. Ranged people aren't going to be debuffed by the damage of Siphon, Power, or Fulcrum Shift that much. And so again, I heal up, buff, keep the team going. And then Wednesday jinxes it again. New rule. She says if I die, mission ends. And actually, I was thinking that'd be kind of a funny hardcore rule mode Wednesday. Is yeah, I should have that. Like we could run this as a new team later. If anybody dies, everybody's got to freaking get kicked. You just drop the entire team. So hire a bunch of pugs, and anytime somebody dies, you slash kick the whole damn group of them. Or if I die, whatever, some little stupid trolly thing like that. And if you really want to play hardcore, if somebody on your team dies and you're the buffer defender, you got to delete your character. Or maybe you don't want to play that hardcore. You can put them in jail for a week. They can't Can't play with them anymore, or for a month. They have to retire from herohood or villainy. Weston. All right, so it's pretty straightforward mission. You go find Weston. You go chit chat, patty whack with him, and this is going to trigger, I think, an ambush. And this is what ends up killing me. Spoiler. But I think it's because we're split. Like, yeah, look at this. And there's like 4 of us over there, right? I'm there, Leo, Auger, and Wednesday. Is our blaster over here? Let's see. Turn the cameras, reveal the world who Weston really is. Sure. Let's see, where's our blaster? I don't feel like we're all here. Oh, okay, we are. Never mind. So we got incoming. We're all here. And I like see them. I thought they were attacking somebody. So what I did is I saw that big flash like that. I thought, oh, one of our people is over there getting attacked. So I see them coming. I immediately engage before Wednesday has any aggro control over here. This is what I think ends up getting me killed. So I cosmic burst his ass. I start taking some damage, and I get stunned. Right there, I get stunned. I'm like, all right, where's my thing? Hold on. Boom, 1 down. I need it. Boom, right there. You lose. See, Wednesday, you jinxed it. So, right there, guys, you see what happens. If you don't have Clarion, you don't have Break Freeze, and you're a buffer, you're a supporter, especially one that's playing melee, you're doomed, and your team might be doomed too. And that's exactly what just happened. This is how important your buffers are. Now, I'm not saying, hey, I'm God's gift, but I get stunned and look what happens. And I'm like looking for like a break free. I'm looking for Clarion. I got 17 seconds on Clarion right now. All right, so I don't have my Mez protection here. I have no break freeze in my tray. And I end up getting stunned. Part of it's because I should have waited till Wednesday got better control. But again, I thought I saw those explosions in the background. So I thought, oh, that's our blaster over there. Somebody's in trouble. So I was like, let me get over there. And these guys are coming. I'll stun this guy. I wasn't anticipating that a whole train of freaking enemies are going to come rushing through here because none of them were actually engaged anywhere. And Wednesday's only taunting the initial couple guys that are coming through. So let's see. Who the hell is it that stuns me? Oh, some asshole back there. Right there. I think it was this Moo Moo right there got me. Stunned. Right? Bam. Right there. Stunned, stunned. Blaster's over here. Wednesday's right here trying to get aggro. And then we've got our Scrapper and our Dominator. Our Scrapper, remember, has been taking a beating the whole time. I just got stunned. And it's not like a quick one and done stun either. Okay, so watch this. I'm like, crap, I'm stunned. Leo's taking a beating. You know, he's backing off. He's moving this way. I needed him to stay up closer. At least I can, if I do come out of this, I'm going to fulcrum off of, or not fulcrum, I'm going to transfuse off of this guy. But it looks like Leo, where'd you go, Leo? Right there. He gets to get walloped. And he's backing off. Yeah, he takes off. And then these guys are going to chase him. And wait, what happened to Wednesday? Wednesday, where'd you go? Hey, Tawny, right there. Oh, they're after Wednesday. Wednesday, you dog, you. I didn't even see you do that. Oh, you lose. Maybe you were thinking we were far behind you. I don't know. And or maybe the speed boost caught up to you. You like took off back there for a second, but then you came booking back here. Anyway, at this point, it's a cluster, right? We don't have containment. We don't have our tanks not holding everybody in one spot. She was managed to aggro a couple guys, and then other guys are coming around the outside. Other guys are just blitzing past here. Our scrapper goes booking backwards. I get stunned. Objet's up here getting wrecked. I don't know what happened to our blaster. We got enemies spread across, I don't know, 60, 100 feet of ground here at this point. And boom, boom, dead. So you jinxed it. Jay's eating candy. Let me get back. Give me something. Get back into this fight. Yeah, that was just a bad play. I think I started it. I hate you, Chakra. I'm so sorry. If I'd recognized that Wednesday was behind me, the tank was behind me when that ambush came, I would have waited. Should have let her go out first. Let her go out first, grab that aggro, and then I can go in. But I'm like, oh, let me go in first. As a kineticist, that probably a bad idea unless you have a bunch of defense in your build, which I don't. All right, so here we go. A second mission. This one is against Knives of Artemis. It's, I think, another tip mission. We have to rescue Sister Jocasta and get her out of there. And if I'm seeing this correctly, did I skip ahead too far? Jeepers creepers. How far did I go? Oh, jeez, I think I clicked. Hold on one second, guys. Yeah, whoops, I jumped ahead by about 2 missions. All right, so we get out of that last mission, and now it's to rescue the debutante. So Kearney's, and it's another tip mission, I think. All right, so we go inside. I'm buffing up the team. You could see, you know, look at all the freaking stacked buffs I've got, like double stacked everything at this point. Juicing everybody up. Let's go. Okay, Wednesday's going out. She's taunting and breaking line of sight. I like that. Okay, you got a couple options there as your tank. You could do what she just did, which I agree, right? You come out, you see what's going on, you throw the taunt, you jump back here, line of sight's broken, in comes, you can see all the Kearneys coming in. Now, if the team recognizes this, which experienced players should, or if the tank says, 1 second, hang on, or pulling, I'll tell teams if I'm playing a tank, I'll say fishing, because I'm casting a line, I'm pulling stuff in. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 7 dudes are all coming around. 8 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 enemies that have just been taunted around the corner. And as long as we don't F this up, we can just drop bombs right here, right? We can throw our Dami, can throw controls. We got Blaster, Defender with some, AoE bombs that we can drop. And actually, I think we actually start doing a really good job of this. Both Angel and Chakra start, 1-2 punching. Obviously, the Blaster's going to outdamage me, especially if she's getting fulcrum shifted. But, I'm like doing cleanup. She's alpha striking, and I'm just like beta cleanup. And then you got your Scrapper in there. Any bosses are still on, jump on them and start just cutting them up. So, this is what starts working here. All right, big old fulcrum. All right, I mean, I know our blaster's got to be pretty highly juiced up because it's got a 7 fulcrum shift boost, and they've got the base 50. I think it's 20% per target that I hit, if I'm not mistaken. So 20 times 7, that's a $140. I think that's the base 50 they got. That's 190, and they got a siphon power, which should be another 20, 25. I forget, 25, let's say. 190, 215 or something like that. They've got at least 215 for me. They just hit build up, and I forget what's build up's boost, like 50% damage. So anyway, whatever else they're packing. Plus, I'm throwing out. They've got assault from my leadership So they're easily getting just from me, let's see, 250. So I'm probably giving them about 250 right now with my stuff. And then if they're throwing this, there's another 50, whatever slotting they've got going on. So they're at least 300, 400% damage at this point. What's Blaster's cap? Like 500 or something like that. So they got to be getting pretty close to their damage cap. And they're just about to go off. Boom, like right there. It's like dead. And then there's me. Oh, let me irradiate. All right, Wednesday's moving out to get the next group. Oh, I like that. That was who just did that little bouncy bounce of the. Okay, the ring mistress boss is still alive right in front of me. Somebody TKs them ahead of us. Who does that? She's a bounce that way. If they gave these mistresses some sort of nuke. They should. These carnies need a boost besides their stupid phasing. Black Star or something. I'd like to see the mistresses get a little more power. All right, I got to pay more attention to what Wednesday's doing. All right, so she's leading away. Gone around the corner. Another big nuke from our blaster. This frickin' blaster's unloading. So our blaster's starting to play more comfortable. See, I'm starting to see a difference from that first mission. There was a lot of tentativeness, a lot of feeling each other out, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And now we're starting to go, okay, hey, this dude's buffing and giving a bunch of damage. I'm got a tank that's, holding the aggro. My Dominator's throwing out some controls. As a blaster, this should be your dream, especially if you got some PBOEs like Angel does. If I get... Boom. Let's nuke this shit out of them. So much for your pets. I think my damage is going to be Garbo because these guys are doing it all. Yeah, so what I was saying there is that I think that my damage is not going to show because I'm spiking everybody else's damage. If everybody's doing 3 times the normal damage that they should do if they were just going on their own, because right now my damage boost is like 298, so I'm pretty much at damage cap for myself. So if the whole team is at 300% damage or something, then yeah, all these other guys are just obliterating all these targets before I can even do anything. So I think that also helps explain why my damage is lower. So even though it looks like, wow, my Kinetics defender didn't do a lot of damage, not personally, but I think the team's damage was up there. I don't have those numbers to say. I don't have a log chat from the other players, but I think maybe because the missions were going quicker, it kind of argues that, yeah, we were definitely killing things faster. And it wasn't like we were just cutting corners either. And we weren't just speed running, like skipping things. Only one mission, the fourth mission, where we kind of cut that one a little bit early. We could have, backtracked and went down a couple side tunnels, but it was like, yeah, whatever. We got the objective. Let's just move on. And that one only lasted like 4 minutes. All right, so again, I'm liking how our tank is moving things around. These guys are doing it all. Okay. Maybe I should get proxy damage. All right, so you'll see what I'm seeing. Hey, I don't see Wednesday. Oh my God, where'd she go? She's right around the corner, like right there. So what you're seeing her do with her tank, and I appreciate this, is she's engaging, getting aggro, and then redirecting it away from the team, right? Instead of stopping here in the middle of the hallway and going, taunt, come this way. And then all this crap just starts firing in this direction and we're behind her getting wrecked. That would suck. So instead, what you see her doing is moving this way, breaking the line of sight, perhaps around the corner to get the stuff to follow. And then she's right here acting as that aggro magnet. Look, all the freaking carnies, you can see what they're doing. They're all looking this way. Where's that filthy tank? Kill the bitch, right? They're all this way. Kill, kill, kill. They're not pointed towards the team. Beautiful. Now the team goes in to engage as she is holding the aggro. And as a dark tank, she doesn't have anything to worry about the psi crap or the negative stuff. That's a joke. That's tickling her. holy shit. But then, Leo, again, he's taking huge hits. My pets out there, I get some damage out of them. Okay, we're taunting in some more guys. Enough of this shit. I don't think I need any wakies. Break freeze. The one thing that would have made this go smoother, and it's not like a shot at objet or nothing, but electric control is kind of a soft, weaker control set. You know, the sleep and the drains and stuff are really good. But for this team, would have been nice to have like a harder, like, you know, boom control to just lock crap down. Because I see these guys getting slept and whatever, and it's slowed, slept, great, but they're getting woken up a lot just because I've thrown out some DOT. Wednesday's probably got some DOT from her damage, or I think I see it right there. So, right, you're going to keep waking these guys up. They're going to keep attacking. I don't see any gremlin pets. I don't know if Objet is just conscientiously objecting to slavery and no pets or something, or doesn't have them. I don't know. I just don't see them. Haven't seen them at all at this point. That's, you know, damage, obviously, that you're not getting, plus the jolting chain knockdowns. That would help you a little bit. So I didn't see, you know, the build if he actually has them or not. I do have a damage proc in my siphon speed. You just saw it go off. Because I am trying to get some extra damage out of this guy. Because if you remember from the build, there's the damage proc right there. If you remember from the build video, I'm not like super loaded up on like just raw damage everywhere. I've got lots of little attacks. Or so let me rephrase it. I do have my stuff slotted for a lot of damage, and I have a lot of global damage overall. But what I'm doing with some of these other things to get some of that extra little damage here, and I probably want to do this some more, because what I found is that I'm spending, if you remember from that first mission, I was like 70-30 buff to attack. Here, I'm probably closer to 50-50 in this mission. My damage does go up. But if I can get some damage out of this buff side, you know, from my kinetics powers, then that's even more damage. So that's what you see when I'm doing siphon speed and have the damage proc. I don't have it in there, but you can get, what is it, theft of essence. One of the accurate heal sets has a damage proc. I have the one that has actually the endurance boost proc in it. So that would be something to look at, is getting another damage proc there, just to try to milk some extra, you know, something out of this build, because that's what I did notice. And here I'll kind of jump to that stat for you to see what I'm talking about. In, you know, looking at the stats later, you'll see this. Here is my damage output. So overall, I wasn't doing, you know, gobs of damage like I've done with some of my other characters. It wasn't, you know, bad, but it was, you know, shorter missions. But here's where I'm noticing something. If you look at my individual, you know, breakout of my powers here, you'll see that, you know, my nuke, atomic blast, you know, 44,000, and I have an obliteration damage proc in there, so there's another 5,000 at this thing. So combined, these things are about 50k, roughly. Compare that to, you know, my mighty. Here's my judgment, right? I'm doing more damage with atomic blast than my mighty. This is getting me 43k. And then my other big hitter was radiate at 15. So really, I mean, you know, PBOE, 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 those are my big hitters. My other stuff, you know, Cosmic Burst, that's really nothing. Electron Haze, that's disappointing, only 2,500. Neutrino, 515. I like, that's nothing. Neutron Bomb, my other AoE, 47. X-Ray, about 2,000. But here's my siphon speed. Give me that impeded swiftness proc I've got in there. I'm actually, you know, I'm doing more damage with that proc than I did with my tier 1 neutrino bolt, which is slotted with 5 damage devastation in it. So this is what I'm saying. If I could get more damage out of stuff like this, like maybe I throw a ice mistrals in here, because I'm using this power a lot. So if I can milk some more damage out of it, and it might even be the point where like, you know what, I don't even need Neutrino Bolt. I can drop that from the build completely because I'm barely using it. Like, look at this. Mission 4, I didn't use it at all. Mission 1, I used it, what, once or twice? So you can kind of see I'm only using it maybe 2, 3 times on a mission. So, hey, why don't I maybe get rid of this? Because I'm probably siphoning more than that. Obviously, I'm siphoning a lot more than that because I'm only getting 47 a pop, and I scored over 1,000 with it. So whatever, you know, activations it is, 20, whatever, I don't know, 20 some activations or something like that. So I'm activating a whole, at least that it procced. So it procced 20, 30 times. You know, how many times did it activated on top of that? You know, another triple that number. So I've clicked this power probably, I don't know, 50 times, 60 times, whatever, in all these missions. So I could probably get more damage out of it. And maybe if I did the same thing with transfusion, got some more damage, that could allow me to maybe free up something like a neutrino bolt, drop that, take those slots and put a couple into, you know, beef up siphon for another damage proc, throw a 6 slot into my transfusion with a damage proc. So I could look at that as an option and then use these more as attacks slash buffs. But I did think that was interesting that so much damage was from those couple powers. But, you know, hey, I'm going into melee, boom, boom, and boom. So combined, that's, you know, about 50, 65, 108. So of my 125, about 108 of it came from just those 3 powers. That's kind of lopsided if you think about it. So those other powers really weren't doing me much good. And I think part of that was the whole 70-30 idea, right? If I'm using my buffs 70% of the time or 60-40, let's say, overall, then if I'm not getting any damage out of these at all, it's sort of wasted clicks as far as offense goes. I am obviously getting fulcrums and the siphon powers that boost my team's damage, but I'm not taking advantage of the extra damage because I'm not attacking that much. So that's something I'd like to try to work on, and that might just be a play style thing with this guy. I might need to kind of work on what I click and when I click it, or how often I do something. But anyways, just pointing that out that I did get a decent chunk of damage out of my siphon speed, which otherwise would have given me no damage just by putting that one impeded swiftness in there. All right, wrecking these fools. Let's move on. Do some more buffing. Okay, now there's an example of when your tank, when Wednesday taunts right towards everybody, look what happens. So Wednesday's here, and she taunts standing here, and look where Objet is. It's right behind her. And then watch what happens. Because we don't see Wednesday dancing over here. I don't even know if there was I don't think this was a dead end. It's probably what happened. So that's where, you know, if you don't have any place to break line of sight, your other option is to go deep. And I commented on a couple of, I think, a couple of threat assessment videos like this. Like, you just punch deep and get everybody to turn in the other direction. Of course, you have to be trusting your rest of your team to follow you. But I think this her build's probably gonna handle this no problem anyway. But you don't see that. You see she's gonna taunt, and then everybody starts firing this way. And I think Objet just takes it to the face. I don't know if he aggroes too, but let's see what happens. The other two are behind me somewhere. I'm buffing. Okay, Objet is taking damage. She's taking damage. Yeah, our tank doesn't have aggro control till about now. And then she's going deep. And there was like a double group here. And one thing about Kinetics is you can't rely upon it to save you. Like you saw there, I was trying to get a heal for Objet, and it took me a while to find a target that I could trust. Because you got the phase targets, you know, you got the decoy. So I had to look around, and I finally found the Dark Servant there. And I was like, all right, well, I might be debuffed, but let me hit him. Get the big heal on him. She's confused. I hate these ones where you're supposed to rescue the person, but you're in the middle of the mission, so you're like, well, screw it. She thinks we're here to rescue her. back that up. I don't, all right, yeah, so I take her out. And again, check this out. So I'm stuck with this chick. So either I just keep escorting her deeper, which is probably what I should have done, but because we were close to the exit, so we just came from this way. So the team went this way, and I'm seeing the exit right here. It's 76 yards away. So I'm like, well, I got the stupid chick following me. I might as well just drop her off and then go join the team, or maybe the team will wait. I don't think the team waits. So check out what happens. All right. Yeah, see, check it out. They're already engaging. Wednesday's like way down there. I think the blaster and Scrapper go that way. Does Objet follow me? Yeah, Objet and I are heading this way. So, yeah. So check that out. I'm escorting. I hate doing it as the only buffer. If you get stuck in escort mode, it's almost don't even bother. Just keep going with the team because the team's relying upon you to support them, and you can see what's happening that I'm not supporting them. So Wednesday goes in to continue attacking. I don't think she saw that we had rescued the person and that we had to escort them out. So she's going in and she's getting action. Our Scrapper and Blaster follow, and then meanwhile, your two essentially support characters, your controls with the Dami and your buffs with your Defender, are heading to the door. Now, I'm not sure why Auger followed unless he thought she was following him. So it would have probably been better if Auger just went to support the rest of you. Or I should have just ditched her and just kept following the team. But I was like, well, the exit's here. I'll just dump her. Meanwhile, this team's getting freaking murdered. There she comes. Leo's getting worked again. You guys are dying. Throw a heal. Look at that. Saved a freaking other life. Angel's getting worked. Okay, I think this is the first time Angel tried to use her lore, or not lore, but judgment, but then it just failed because she hit a phase target. Nope. Unaffected. So that's a couple times now you've seen what happens when I'm not in the picture. The first time was on that Arachnos map and I got stunned. The second time is when I'm sitting there escorting. My teammates start taking big damage. Screw it. Going in. For some reason, I didn't use my judgment that much. I mean, I did a decent amount of damage with it, but I could have used it more, but I don't know why I was. Whenever I was in a situation, I think I remember what happened. Is that normally, with judgment, PB AoE, my mighty, come in, fulcrum shift, let's say, and then, mighty and explode. Or I'll do the 1, 2, 3, irradiate to get the big old debuff on there, hit him with atomic blast, and then mighty as the 1, 2, 3 punch. But I think a lot of times what happened before I got to number 3, they were dead because the blaster Angel would just unload with her 1 or 2 nukes that she's got, destroy everything, and then I was pretty much cleaning up whatever was left with irradiate and atomic blast. So I never got to really use mighty. And then I started using it more as an opener, which I probably should have done that a lot more in the first place. But anyway. The other thing you haven't seen me use yet, because again, I don't want to say I was afraid to use it, but I was tentative, is TK, telekinesis. I just picked it up on a respec before I did the solo. So I went and did my build video after taking it, and then I ran that one solo mission. And, I saw it did some interesting things, but I didn't want to disturb what we're doing. I don't want to push stuff away from what Wednesday was collecting. And we had some good AoE nukage, and we had the patches from electricity. So I was like, well, TK, it's kind of pushy. It's kind of, disturbing things. So I was like, I don't know when I'm supposed to use this. I do use it later, but just making a note that I didn't use it that much at this point. I mean, the team's moving pretty quickly, sort of in a standard, tank and spank style. So I didn't find myself needing to do a lot of, pre-debuffing or whatever. Got in the middle of that suckage. My pets actually did a decent chunk of damage. I'll pause the video and kind of look at that stat real quick. And I've talked about this already a few times that pets, even for defenders, are really solid. So you see, my total damage was 125, which was low for what I've seen before. But then my pets were chipping in. It wasn't huge amounts, but not respectable, right? Like 27k, 125. So what is that percent wise? Like 20%, something like that. Roughly 20, 25%, somewhere in there. So my pets were doing 20 to 25% of my damage. Now, compared to controllers, my controller, remember, they've been averaging and clocking in probably close to 50%, somewhere in that range. I've been getting 45 to 55, maybe higher percent on my controllers. So if you can, I mentioned this a couple times now, if you can get some pets on your defenders, some way, shape, or form, it's gonna increase your damage output, especially with something like Kinetics, where you're spending so much time in the buff, phase of the game. You can see my comparison numbers here on this graph. The orange is showing you my pet outputs versus my defender. So, here in that first mission, it was like, I don't know, what, 60, 40, 70, 30, something like that. One third, two third, let's say. So a decent chunk of damage here was maybe only about 20%, maybe 20% or something like that. Here again, we're about a one third, two third. And the only reason, and I got to see this one. Maybe I forgot to summon them at this point. I was pretty good at remembering to summon them, but something happened here where I just never got them out at all in that last mission, which is kind of weird because it was like one of the longer missions that we had and could have used some extra damage, but I just didn't bring them out. So had I brought them out here, I would have gotten this maybe closer to 30k, a little bit more respectable. But we didn't. It wasn't like we were starving for damage. Clearly, we were cleaning up these missions pretty quickly. If you look at some of my other videos, especially ones of my controllers, where it's taking an hour and 15 minutes or something like that, hour close to an hour and a half, I think, in that one controller. It's just more of a plod, more of a slog. Where this is, we're moving, right? We're just cruising along, running and gunning, going crazy. We're not skipping stuff. We're just taking stuff down pretty quickly. Get another big old boom boom from our blaster. I mean, I don't mind playing Kinetics and like juicing everybody up and just watching them all go off. That's fun. But just understand that's your mindset. A lot of people think maybe play Kinetics and they're thinking, oh, they're going to have God mode damage themselves, which you can, but on a team, it's not really likely because you're more likely your teammates are going to do the damage. That's not going to disappear. Depends on who is on your team, of course. Damage cap again. There goes Angel going off, just taking out the entire effing group. Got like Psy Shockwave or something like that. Psy Blast. It's just disgusting the amount of damage she's doing. I'm not rescuing you. So that time I just left the prisoner. I'm like, screw it. I'm not gonna abandon the team again. So I didn't need to worry about Wednesday at all. Her build is really strong, especially against these things. Damage capped again. Leo's taking a big beating again. Kind of got to look for targets that aren't phased. He's not gonna make it. Yeah, right there. Nothing I can do. She was phased. Didn't have a target. Don't phase me, bro. Don't phase me, bro. All right, so let's take a look at team deaths. It wasn't that bad. I mean, Leo, I think, had the most. And again, I'm not like going, oh, Leo, you're a bad person. It just his character was the one that was taking the biggest beating overall. I think he died. I'm afraid if all three of those were him or not. Because I think this is his last mission with us. I know it was this one and this one. I forgot if Leo died in that one too. But just that build was not doing well against the damage types that we were taking on. It was some big old hits that he kept taking. Actually, shit, this is only the second mission. So yeah, those first two deaths were his. I think he doesn't do the next mission though. So, and I've run into that. There's usually one character that is the soft underbelly of the team that takes a bunch of damage. But as a buffer, if you can figure out who that is, you can keep your eye on him. I had my eye on Leo. I just couldn't get a heal off because the freaking master illusionist was phased. I'm like, well, I have nothing to hit, and that's who he was standing next to. I get back in there. It's my first TK. Just trying it out. I'm like, fuck it. That was mostly just to kind of keep him away from Leo while he was taking a knee. We have a rescue here. Yeah, see, the team is not worried about the rescues. Wednesday, you got some escort service you got to do. Wednesday's like, frick the escorts. Kill. Another nuke by our blaster. But I ain't getting her. Wednesday. Oh? Well, remember those debutantes that need to be rescued? That wasn't just eye candy. Jesus, Angel, relax. Those nukes. Crap. Taking damage. Leo, don't die. Like, Leo, I don't know where they went. I think they're around the corner. It's hard to say. Because at this point, I'm taking damage too, and I don't want to leave this mistress behind me. Start shooting me in the back. Oh, there's Leo. And I think a couple times when Leo took damage, they would take off, which made it hard to. Obviously, I can't do anything but I'm thinking, oh, my scrapper's in front of me in the fighting. But a couple times they had taken off in the other direction to take cover. I think the anti-scrapper lock. I'm expecting scrapper lock. Capping the damage some more. Keep the team juiced up. Let's go. There's a nice sleep. It's the first time I've thrown Electron Haze. It's right there. Gosh. Yeah, Angel's just destroying things. I like to think I was helping with that. But her builds might be killer. I don't know. She was vet level 48, so maybe I was helping a little bit. Like, where the hell? Like, where did this group come from? Right? They were not there when I came up. Hey, look. I mean, I didn't see them. I mean, I guess they could have been there. And here's where I almost die. So maybe just right out of the corner of my eye, I missed him. Where'd they come from? Try the TK again. So I tried it on them because they were phased, and I kind of liked it because I found that maybe when they're phased, I can't do anything, but as soon as they unphase, like load it. As soon as they unphase, they go in a corner like that, and then they just stay there pinned. So this is what that TK is doing. So I put it on the phase mistress. She unphases, they start moving. Then they get lumped, and then it's just they start wigging out over there. Walk, 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 walk. And they're just pinned. I can't do anything. So TK could be like awesome. I'm not sure if I can figure out how to use it. All right, there's the third one. Now we got two. Yeah, like forget escorting these chicks out. Let's just keep going. All right, so we got a nice round up there, pretty much. Tank goes down in the middle, gets the attention. The team wait. I mean, I got to give team props too, because check that out. You've heard me complain about this before. Like, why are people not waiting 5 seconds, 10 seconds for the tank or somebody? Notice what we're doing here. All five of us are up here. Wednesday makes the joke, jumps over, give a couple buffs, waiting. She's down there collecting. Now people go in. All right, so count the time. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, right? We're giving her 5, 6 seconds and then we go in, letting her round that shit up. Other teams I've been watching or I've been playing with lately have done the total opposite suctitude. They're diving in before the tanks don't do anything, or the tank would stand up there and taunt towards us on the ledge. Just crazy shit like that. Here we have just smart play. I think it's, you have experienced players here. You can tell. Wednesday's down there, does the taunt, gets the aggro. The 3, 4 of us are kind of waiting for a second. Okay, tank's got it. Juice up, let's go. And then boom, boom, boom. Crap starts dying. Another nuke. Another nuke from me. Dead. That's just 1-2 punch dead. Try to do some more of that stupid TK business, see what it does. Yeah, alright, so push them over there and they just kind of stand there. Crap. I need you guys to be on aggressive here. Yes, more aggression. An ambush or something just came. It seemed that way. Unless somebody had fold space or taunted them down there, I'm not sure. I'm gonna see something because one of two things just happened there. Either somebody had fold space and, well, there's an ambush, they jumped on us. Somebody folded space and brought them all down there with that. Or it's got to be an ambush, right? Is this group still there? The other thing I was thinking, and I didn't see it, but there's still another group up top, at least there was. Big nukes. Let me just see if I pan. Okay. All right, so it must have been an ambush because I thought Right, there was this group over here. There was the group that you see up top. So group here, group here. When we were over here fighting, and all of a sudden stuff started falling on us, and I thought, well, did somebody fold space and bring things in? But I'm guessing it was an ambush. But the other thing I was thinking is, oh, did somebody? I was thinking, well, maybe Wednesday jumped up here, taunted, and then jumped back down, and then they all dove down. And I was like, ooh, mad props for that move. But I don't think that's what you did, Wednesday. I think that was a just ambush or something that came in. I since their extra bodies seem to show up out of nowhere. Maybe when I see your version of the video, I'll see what happened. It just was weird. All right, so all this stuff right here is just extra kills. I mean, we don't need to do this. Now it's just escorting these two out. And I think I ended up subtracting like a minute off the timer on this one just because it took a while to go back to find the chick that we left. All right, then Objet has to leave. And so did Leo. So we lost our two besties aside from me and Wednesday. And I recruit two new pugs. And that is Blazing Tsunami and White Pigeon. So we got a new scrapper, and then we're replacing the Dami with a Sentinel. And I think I get the info on these guys. Should I grab ATT? I do. Fun with this. So we replace one scrapper for another. Blazing Tsunami, we have a Sentinel instead of our Dami. Water, fire. So I'll have some fun with this. And might even lose another person soon. Let's see. White Pigeon. Do we get their... All right, we've replaced... There we go. Our bodies here. We lost two. And we gained two. We got White Pigeon, vet level 10 scrapper. All right. And then we got Blazing Tsunami. So we replaced one scrapper for another. Blazing Tsunami, we have a Sentinel. All right, so overall about the same total levels. Our scrapper's higher level than the one we lost, than Leo was. But our Dami, who was a vet level, I think vet level 7, left, and we replaced that with a just regular level 41 water, fire, Blazing Tsunami. And a few things that Blazing Tsunami does, and I don't know if I apologize if I call you out and you weren't doing this, but you were doing some suspicious things that I thought you might be pseudo door sitting, but maybe I was mistaken. I want to watch this and just see if I catch it or not, or if I was overreacting at the time. All right, so we're going to go into this mission. Going in without you. This is the... All right, yeah, so here's one of the things, right? So they join the team, and then waiting, and I do ATT, bring everybody over because we're like 2 miles away, but they don't respond to that. And maybe they missed it. I don't know. But, okay, like waiting. And then Wednesday does the ATT. So we spend 2 ATTs to get our Sentinel over to join us. So it's like they join the team saying, yeah, I'll play. And then they don't actually join for a few minutes. And then it takes 2 ATTs to get them to actually get to the map while the rest of us are standing around. Now, remember, at this point, you know, I'm trying to run these stats. I'm trying to get this thing done. I don't want to lose people. So the longer you stand around, the more people are going, well, I'm leaving. And I just lost 2 people, so I don't want Angel to suddenly go, oh, I need to leave. So I'm like, all right, come on, hurry up. If you're going to join the team, say you want to play, then be ready to go. Or give me a, hey, I need 5 minutes. And okay, thanks. Maybe I'll wait, or maybe I'll say, I got to move on. All right, bunch of Knives of Artemis. Love these little ladies. All right, your tank's in the middle. Blaster nuke. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, done. That's tank and spank. This is annihilation. I was like, I didn't have to do anything. Some door buffage, and then we're done. Juicy room ahead, though. Okay, Wednesday gets in the middle, does the taunt. I go in, get some buff, the nuke. I don't know if I want to summon my pets, given the
Caltrop's gonna send them flying.
Yeah. All right, Wednesday's gathering up a big group in the distance. I see her. She's taking a beating. White Pigeon, where are you? What's going on?
Look at that damage cap. Maybe scrappers are soft today. What's up with that?
Yeah, you saw we had problems with Leo staying alive. And now we get a new scrapper who's actually vet leveled, and you're expecting, okay, this person's going to be able to have no problems. And they're freaking taking huge damage too. And I don't like back here doing whatever. And now Angel's taking a freaking beating. All right, Wednesday's in there taking a beating. I go in to help. Damage. Heal myself. I see my scrappers hurting. Where'd they go? Now my blaster starts taking damage.
Maybe scrappers are soft today. What's up with that?
A huge hit she just took. Oh, she's got effing critted by that broadsword, I think.
Ooh, what happened to Angel?
Look at all those freaking caltrops. Yeah, you don't want to be near the tank when they're tanking knives and they're all the freaking caltrops. I took so much damage from. I took a ton of damage, I think, from caltrops in this one. Where is that? Third mission. I'm gonna look at my lethal damage taken. Damage taken, lethal, third one. Yeah, I mean, it's like I took 3,900 total damage this mission, and 35 of that was from lethal, which majority of that was just the damn caltrops. I mean, all that freaking damage. It was the most lethal I've taken out of all the missions. It's like half of the total lethal damage was on that mission, and it was mostly from those damn caltrops. It's crazy. Like White Pigeon's afraid of those caltrops.
Ouch. Yeah, it's like the paperclip death. I think I got stealth here.
Summon some pets. So here's the problem that I'm noticing on this mission is if you remember the last couple of missions, it took us, that first mission to kind of get in the groove with each other. Then the second mission, we were kind of moving smoothly. People all knew their roles. We knew what was going on. You knew what to expect. And then we had two people drop, and then we have to reintegrate two new people to figure out what the hell's going on. So they're trying to figure out, hey, what's the tank doing? What's this defender doing? What's our blaster doing? And you see them kind of playing tentatively and not responding to what we're doing. Notice you still have Angel following in close support behind Wednesday. They're playing smart because Wednesday's getting in there, grabbing the aggro, and you'll see, like every other group at least, Angel comes in and just nukes. And usually I'm right there too with the whole, buffing and the damage boosting. Here I'm summoning my pets so they get away from me. But the two new players are, being tentative and uncertain, which, I don't blame them. They're just trying to figure out what the hell to do. I'd rather you sort of feel your way on your first mission than just freaking dive in like an idiot and get yourself blown up or break whatever rhythm that team had. I've had that happen where you're doing a great job, your team's running, you get some new person in on a team of 8 or whatever, and all of a sudden they just start diving in there or throwing out crazy dimension shifts or something like that. Yeah, I got somebody messaging me who also wanted to join the team because I asked a few people to fill in for the two missing people, but then they don't respond, and so then I pick somebody else, and then all of a sudden they do respond. So then you're like, well, hey, I filled, but I'll get back to you. So if you get a message from me to join a DEFCON, 5-man team, you got to be ready to go. You can't be, AFK or whatever. I like the way Wednesday's tanking with this. She's keeping ahead, not hopscotching, but keeping ahead and keeping things turned.
Really don't want to be up in melee.
And especially with all these caltrops, she's keeping that away from the team.
So I kind of have to. Where did Oh, Wednesday went that way?
Wednesday, you're getting like,
Is there something
are
over
you
there?
leeching XP? This is kind of funny. All right, so I'm going to blame this one on Wednesday. So we got over here and we see the elevator, and there's some question, hesitation, up or down. You guys see it in the body language. I'm like going, well, I think we're gonna go up, but I'm like, well, wait, where's Wednesday at? I didn't see her, and then I look on my map and I see, oh, she's over here. So this is the assumption on our tank that hey, everybody's gonna just follow the tank. I'm not sure why to go back here, other than hey, let's clear. I don't know if we need to clear just because hey, we just gotta go find this chick. So if we had some intel that said, hey, this is the way, then sure, we can go that way. Are we trying to clear level by level? Maybe. I mean, I don't really care. Hey, XP is XP. But here's an example where, somebody needs to communicate. I guess as team lead, I should have said something. Um, but I was kind of in the middle answering that tell that just got sent to me, and then I was trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So that got me distracted. And then if your tank is taking lead, they can just send a message like this way or whatever, just to give a heads up that, they're changing direction. Now, I was looking for her, so I knew what to do. So I'm like, all right, let me go see what the hell Wednesday's doing. Maybe she found something. Then, and I don't mean to call Wednesday out like all, on all these things. I'm just saying, hey, the tank's going one way, the team's going the other way. Which way do we go? We always got to communicate. But notice the rest of the team is not looking for a tank. They all start heading up. And let's see what happens. All right, somebody turns around. So now there's 3 of us over here. Let me see who it is that turned around and joined us. Scrappers over here. I think our blaster went up.
I don't know if there's anything else up there. Shh, I can't move. What is patrol?
Yeah, this person just woke up. Come back down. All right, now I'm like, hey, what elevator?
Well, we got stuff here.
All right, now our sentinel comes back down.
Damn it. Keeps fucking stunning me.
I get stunned, especially these long ass stunts.
So dizzy. Like punch drunk.
Those freaking grenades.
Alright, let's retool.
All right, getting spread out now. Notice our new scrapper, I think, is summoning lore pets for some reason. I mean, new people, they didn't get the memo about minimal incarnate stuff. That's one of the few times they use neutron bomb. And I'm going to play more rangey with this mission, just given all this damn caltrops.
Pukey.
You get an extra range out of, I think, out of my Clarion if you get in it. I don't know if she is, though. Yeah, you didn't get my Clarion, looks like. So I wasn't able to get as much, like, Fulcrum-y on this mission, just given the caltrops and avoiding melee range as much as I was.
Victory rush.
I do ultimately think this was the right direction, though, because I think Jocasta is on this level.
Oh, yep.
Buff, buff, pass. Buff, buff, blast. How they get aggroed? That I don't understand. There's something happened there. All right, just saw my sentinel, I think, go up. Is that my bird? That aggro's over there? Yeah, I just saw him. You see that? So my pet, my harpy, I think is stepping on caltrops and takes off to the right. Right there. Yeah, look. The harpy is, I think, taking caltrop damage, so they go running scared, and that aggroes the other group. That's why I was earlier, I was like, I don't know if I should summon my pets. They go over there, they start taking damage. Yep. Alright, so yeah, guilty. So my pet is the one that's over there aggroing that other group. And now they're dead. And I usually use my judgment more than I was. But I just seemed like I always had something else I was doing besides just attacking.
There's Phoebe.
Sister Phoebes. But I missed with the radiate. Alright. Doing the push. Getting the wig. Alright, so now we got Jocasta. And then in comes like an ambush.
Defeat Silent Blade. I gotta lead her out. F this.
Look at that. A nice big juicy group. Throw asleep. There comes the nuke. I mean, they're just dead before they even know what hit them. So that's why my damage is so low. This blaster is just destroying stuff. Ambush.
Gross. Bush. Shave it.
Okay, you'll see what's starting now. Let's see when did this start? All right, watch Blazing Tsunami. I just go back to see when this started.
Defeat Silent Blade. I gotta lead her out. F this.
So I notice it right around here. For some reason at this point, they have me on follow. And they just keep like getting right on top of me. And then they have auto fire. They're
Shave it.
see, look, they have auto fire and follow. It's like, what are you doing? I can't. Sorry, pet peeve number 6. I don't like when people put me on follow, especially auto fire follow, which tells me you're AFK. And now I'm like, what, responsible for you? I don't know when it started. I'm just want to kind of back it up. Just see. Okay, here it looks like he's. How long's he been following me? Why you following me, bro?
Now which way? Oh, yep.
All right. Okay, he's moving independently here. But as soon as we get in this room, okay, he goes up there. All right, might have just been for a split second. He had me on follow for whatever reason. I don't know. But is this weird? And I thought at this point, between the earlier that he was AFK and didn't join the team for a couple minutes and missed the ATT, and then now it's like he's following me and auto firing, and I'm like, what's he doing? So I thought he's like just AFKing, whatever.
Feet silent blade. Okay.
So
Bush.
boom, we have this fight at the door with the ambush. In comes another ambush. I think he still got me on follow though. Right here, why are you following me? It's Blazing Tsunami. If you watch this video, answer the question. Like right there, I recognize it in the game at this point. Because like he's right on me.
Dude, you got me on follow? Don't put me on follow. I hate when people have me on follow. Oh my god, really, dude? Dude, if you got me on follow and have yourself on an auto fire, you know what's gonna happen to you, right?
At this point, I'm going to slash kick. Again, I didn't know. If you say, hey, gotta go AFK, be right back, something's let me know. I like, what do you got me on follow for? And now you're stuck at the elevator. And the reason you're stuck at the elevator, now it gets JoJo stuck. Because JoJo was following me, but now lost sight of me and is locked on Blazing, who had me on follow for some reason and was AFK. It's like, what the frick? And then finally, now he comes back to us. So I don't know. Maybe Blazing was just having a hard time navigating in that room or something. I don't know. But it was just a strange couple minutes of the follow stuff.
Tsunami.
All right, so then we're escorting out, and at this point it doesn't complete even though we escorted her out. So we apparently missed a couple of the mobs, and I think it takes a couple 3 minutes, and I think Wednesday goes back and finds them. They were stealth or something like that. Finally kill them and finally end the mission. Then we got another one. This one's in Peregrine Isle, and it is another tip mission. Stop, pull, or shift, and it's a cave, but it's one of the bigger caves, and it's against Circle of Thorns.
You just have a slow connection or what? But it's a long lag delays between.
Anyway, there had been just some weird behavior, and so if I jump the gun on you, Blazing, I apologize. Just some of the stuff that was happening just didn't click for me. All right, so we get to the mission.
And then you were doing on the follow, so I don't know if you're.
So we get to the mission. I stop ranting about it, and this is where things get a little more interesting. Just trying to figure this out for a second here. Everything's fine.
Let's F and do it.
Right. I don't know how Blazing got aggroed on. I don't know if you're like flying right above them or something, but they're already attacking you before anybody else even got in there. So I don't understand. I didn't see you in front of us. I think that's you flying above me. Oh, there you go. You just threw water. And then Wednesday gets in there to get aggro.
What's got you hurt so bad already? Oh shit.
There's a whole bunch of dudes coming. I don't like fighting the circle because they're able to stack so many debuff patches like Earthquake and Tar Patch and crap. And then their bosses have these huge effing nukes. I think I bited on this one. Let's see. Wednesday thinks she overspat. It's possible. You are in range of my Clarion now, so it could have been. I think I have my Clarion as plus range. All right, so I don't know if Angel has done this mission before, but she says, "Oh, let's make a left turn because we're sort of at an intersection here. If we come up here, and then boom, she says left turn. So the map has sort of a intersection, right? It's got keep going straight, and then there's this, and normally your inclination, hey, let's keep going straight. But Angel's like, the left turn, let's go left. As if she knows where to go. Has done this before, I don't know. But we're like, which is weird because this is the first time I saw our blaster suddenly go, hey, follow me. She's been following our tank this whole time. So I was about to go this way, but hey, let's go left. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll go left. But I don't see how she would have known unless she's done this 1,000 times. But hey, long story short, the reason this mission is so short is 4 minutes because Angel knows exactly where to go to find this target. So we go this way. Always best. She said something like always best. Oh, she says I cheated and used reveal. All right, so maybe by using reveal, you kind of have a better idea where the end boss room is, whatever, because we have to find polar shift and blow up this altar. And so she clicked her map, I'm guessing. I don't want to be up this close. Nuke's going off. Nuke's going off. It's just dead. Toast next. Throw some more buffs. Oh no. All right, so I actually like this look of this room. And I like what Wednesday just did. Okay, that was a good pull. Just so you guys see that. So here we are coming up to this big open room, and you've got, you know, two cluster groups for sure over here. One with polar shift, another one behind them there, and then this group here. So, if you go here to just try to fight this group, you're for sure going to aggro this freaking group. And then if anybody happens to, stray in this direction, you can aggro that group too. So you can end up with a triple whammy. The other option you have is, like, let's say if I had a toggle, I would have probably thrown a toggle on somebody and pulled them this way, and then use this rise, the slope here to break line of sight. So what I see Wednesday doing is pretty interesting. So she goes this way like she's going to go dive in, gets their attention, and then kind of pulls over in this direction to not get a big old pile up sandwich. I think she's just trying to grab this group. And maybe I'm almost thinking, well, hell, she might be going for a triple whammy sandwich. She might be going over here and just pulling this group, taunting that group, and just going for all three of them at a big old crash, pad in the middle here. But I don't think it goes that way. Let's see, what are you doing there? So you taunt. I'm like, okay, she's pulling this way, but then she moves. Right, you see that? So she taunts up here, and I'm thinking, wait, she pulling them towards us? And then it goes whoop over here to bring them that way. And then I'm thinking, man, is she going balls to the walls and grabbing this group here? Because that'd be ballsy. But I like it because what she's trying to do, it looks like, is peel this group away from this back group. That's a smart move. Let's get them away. But also notice she's not pulling them towards us to get us all damaged. So she's pulling and then moving this way. I think she's been watching my videos of me complaining about tanks doing silly things. And then I'm like, man, is she going to go for this group? Because I'm like, that'd be balls to the walls. I'm going to freaking go in there and fulcrum shift the crap out of that. I'm already damage cap, but there's always more. All right, so I've got a little siphon. I'm watching her collect some dudes. Okay. Well, so far, so good. I'm with this. Let me throw some control in there. Let me juice up. All right, so far so good. We're not aggroed. Oh,
Holy shit.
I took a huge nuke. Again, it's one of those examples of, hey, you took a lot of damage. But I think it was just from like these one or two huge hits. More buff. Big explosion. Mission completes. And then right here,
Damn, bro.
another almost kill. I think that was enough to scare me into saying, you know what, I'm done with this mission. It's like two huge detonations.
Want more? Or
All right, so we exit. That was a short mission, 4 minutes, but it almost got me killed.
Dr. Boyd?
All right, we got last mission I'm going to run. And this is just a typical standard radio mission. Council. Let me back that up. All right, we're going council here. All right, so buffing at the door.
Blazing Sue.
Here comes Blazing. Boom, boom. Get them buffed. Scrapper's here already. Wednesday's getting to work. Okay, going in. Angel's mentioning that she's got a red blasting defender with Marine that she's playing because she's, I think, maybe thinking I'm playing crazy or something. I don't know. I thought I was playing a little bit tame.
Yeah, sorry to leave that guy hanging. Resonance.
Yeah, then that guy who'd wanted to join earlier, I basically told him that, we don't need you. He's like, hey, I can't wait around any longer. I said, that's fine. We're still going. I thought somebody else was going to drop, so that's why I kind of left him hanging. I apologize for that. I forget your name. But I feel like, oh, you bastard, you're the one who didn't invite me to your team. What had happened was I had messaged you. You didn't respond. It was like AFK thing. So then somebody else responded. I got them on the team. Then a few minutes later, like, hey, yeah, I'll join. At that point, I'm locked into this DEFCON 5 thing. So I'm going with teams of 5. Couldn't have room for you. And then I was waiting because I thought we'd be done with that last mission pretty quickly, which we were. But then nobody dropped. So we kept running. Anyway, sorry to be an a-hole. It's mine and Wednesday's favorite group. Galaxies. All these effing guys.
Damn it.
Again, a freaking Reser.
Piece of trash.
Let's get the team separated. This is something I always talk about a lot is rezzing in the back, and this is where I'd like to see my tank or somebody, last one out, make sure that there's no problems. Wednesday's already went to the next group, I think, in the next room. This guy's resin behind us, so me and the scrapper sit back here dealing with it. And then I think they go on and they start getting into trouble. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the other part of the team's already ahead. Well, actually, three of us are back here. All right, I just saw a tsunami up there.
Let's see up there, tsunami.
So Angel, Wednesday, go ahead.
All right, these guys went this way.
They've got tanker lock.
I don't really want to walk into another big res.
Yeah, I don't like walking into those big reses. Look at Wednesday just getting ballsy. Huge effing nuke, Jesus. Angel, you are packing some heat. There's my healing proc. Love it.
Eat that nuke, bitch.
Eat nuke, bitch. All right, boom. See, now here's an example where your tank is hanging until the end, right? So we have a res, we have a transformation. Your tank is still there tanking. Meanwhile, how many times have I done videos now where instead what would have happened is the tank would have been, oh, I killed them once, let me keep going. Or, oh, they're almost dead, you guys finish it. They would have run over here, opened this door, and engaged the next group of enemies while you're still back here fighting.
Let's cap that ass.
And they'd be in this room already. Oh, that was crazy. Right there, I didn't know what Wednesday was doing on that one. That one didn't make sense to me. So you open the door. Obviously, it's a shit ton of guys, right? There's one, two, three groups or whatever. But there's no place to. I mean, maybe you could tuck in here, but then you tucked and run, and then you went back. I think at that point you're going, "Oh no, what am I doing? These guys are coming." I would say, yeah, but your initial plan could have worked if you just tucked tight by the potted plant over here and hung there. Otherwise, you kind of do what you've done before, although I haven't seen you do this too much, is the old King of the Hill move, is just go in there and park your ass in at least that group, because I don't know if there's aggro-able here. There might have been on this side. I haven't gotten a good look on the right. So I would say that part of it, your better bet is just to fucking get in there and start mixing it up because we're coming right behind you anyway. But I think this is too shallow of an angle to get a good LOS breaking. 'Cause these guys kind of come wide and can just start shooting. And plus, at this point, you got people coming right behind you, which they're playing a little bit too tight. There goes White Pigeon getting
Dude, where you at, Pidge?
Pidge is getting roasted.
You're over there getting murdered. Not like
Now Wednesday goes in. Look at that. Yeah, that would have been my initial move. Just go right there in the first place. I'm going in for the big suckage. Not sure how those guys got pulled. Oh, okay, taunt. That's what it was. Taunt and followed by a spew. All right, so you're pulling into us. Pitch just keeps taking effing Pigeon keeps taking a beating. At this point, I'm getting like, fuck it. It's getting late. Let's finish this up. So I start pulling shit from across the room. Just one at a time using my siphon. Not too crazy. But I'm also pull them here. Wednesday looks like she's got a campsite set up. Grab another one. Plus, I'm using that to buff my teammates to get damage boosting on them.
Buff. Buff.
More damage boosting. All right, look at that. I like Wednesday's doing the drag maneuver. See that? That's perfect. All right, so we got a, wolf here that's going to take us 10 seconds, 20 seconds to F with, but not really worth it. But notice again, a lot of tanks would have just said, oh, you guys finish that trash. I'm going to go for the big stuff, and they would take off immediately. What you see her do is instead she's over here, punchy punching, getting it taunted, getting it aggroed, and then heads this way. Or what you've heard me in some of my videos call the drag maneuver. So she's like taunt and then pull it and just keep going. It'll follow her. She's got the aggro on it. It's not going to go after us. She's dragging it behind her, like, by the scruff of the neck. Come on, let's go. Instead of sitting there wasting time to kill it in the location, just pull it in the next group. I'm going to go in there and give some close support. All right, now I'm getting kind of ballsy. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. Nuke's coming. Boom, boom. Again, before I really get my big nuke off, the blaster's already taken out 3/4 of the shit. I'm trying to do close support again. There goes my freaking judgment. Got a big old boom boom off of that one. What I should have watched out for is all this resin crap and healing. You know what's coming, right? One. That's a big old judgment. Again, I like that Angel wasn't going off with their stuff. Incarnates. They had it and they could have, but they didn't. Okay, Blazing got wrecked. All right, so right now we have this, right? But the problem is this. All of a sudden we've got freaking guys showing up. And I'm at this point going, all right, I got this. I'm a big boy. And I should have waited. Because here comes the rest of the freaking... rest of that... The rest of the freaking ambush. The werewolves are fast. They outran the rest of it. So I'm like, oh, werewolves. Let me sleep them. Let me go fulcrum shift. And then we'll go kill them. And then all of a sudden the vampires show up because they're running slower. Then I'm like, oh, crap. Let me get out of there. I use my mobility. Dodge that bullet. Try to get over here. Maybe get Wednesday's attention. If anything's follow me. If anything's follow me, they're going to run through my tank into their aura. Except I get slammed by some knockback BS. Right.
Oh, bullshit.
I don't know what the hell just hit me. What was that?
Oh, bullshit.
What was that? One more time.
Oh, bullshit.
I just got like hit for 600, 300, it's like 1200 plus damage. Just got hit. I don't even know what the hell it was. What was that? Again, another huge damage spike got me. Triple nukes. Just fucking nuke them all. Alright, now like screw this. Let's play. They're freaking coming from everywhere now. It's freaking chaos. I'm getting knocked on my A again. I don't know how the hell Pigeon's surviving. This is crazy. Get some buffs out there. People are too spread out. So you'll see what I'm doing. It seems like I'm jumping around crazy, but what I'm trying to do is I know shit's on me and our tank doesn't have all the containment. So what you're seeing me doing is not just randomly freaking hopping around like an idiot. Is I'm like, if shit's on me, I'm jumping, hopscotch away. It's gonna try to follow me, and then boing, boing, and then keep. And what I'm doing is I'm basically bouncing around in a circle around my tank, and I'm trying to get these things to boing, 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 keep following me, because eventually Wednesday's auras, her taunts and shit, are gonna catch these guys. They're gonna catch their aggro as they're pursuing me. And so that's where you see me boing, 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 and I come over here next to her. And I'm also trying to use her as a meat shield, right? Because she's sitting right here. And I'm like, boing. Oh shit, I got something on me. Boing. Oh, they're still coming. And then I like jump over past her to the other side so that all the crap that was following me is going to go straight and hit her first. She can take it. So that's what I'm doing. And I land. I'm all right, fine. Buff, I hitting fulcrum, I'm hitting transfusion, transference, whatever to get myself juiced up. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm using this to buy time to reactivate my freaking toggles. So it's just, I don't know, the bunny hop. It got crazy there. Okay, collapse on our tank. Been complaining about the missing ambushes. Well, I guess I found them. Yeah, it's how many times you heard me say, if you've been watching, that I'm like, we keep all these escort missions. You're supposed to get 3 ambush waves, and we've been getting 1 at best. Now all of a sudden they all showed up. Look at them all. There we go, kaboomy. They frickin' suck. Well, I'm not soloing his ass. Boom, nuke again. There it is. I think that was the last of the ambushes, though. Holy shit. Yeah, it's holy shit. I think that
Guy on the way out.
Yep, there it is.
We did it.
Holy shit, guys. Holy shit. I think that was 5. Yep.
Oh, aside from that one cheesy cave cot mission, that wasn't.
All right, so yeah, that was the end of it. I think overall it was a good set of missions. The only one I wish we would do over, or we had, because I think Wednesday it said, "Hey, do we want to stay in there?" Is that 4th mission? I was like, "Ah, nah, let's just keep going," because I knew we still had one more, and I was figuring I'd get a juicy one there. But looking at the overall missions, it was a good collection. I think the data was, solid. I kind of go through it now in a little bit more depth, but here are the missions. 51 minutes. So this is the shortest time I've had. Part of this though is a little bit misleading. It's not, oh, Kinetics, it's so fast. Remember my controller demos who I just finished, they had the shortest controller mission at 57 minutes with demos. So this is even less than that. The reason I think these two are as short as they are is not so much kinetics and speed boost. Yeah, that's some of it. But this 5th mission here, what I have been doing in all my other tests is I ran either the Mayhem or I was running the Safeguard. And those typically are taking a good 20 plus minutes. Typically. I imagine they would have been around 20 minutes. So I would estimate then if I were to tack on another 10 minutes to my mission fives here and with Demos, I think that's a more realistic time had I done the same procedure as what I'd done with my other controllers and corruptors. So this is probably closer to 61 minutes or about an hour. Even so, that's probably my fastest defender time. It's one of of the four so far. And the same is true with Demos. He would have been clocking in around 67 minutes. So that's still, fast. So Kinetics I think is still making this a faster run than other stuff. The combination of just faster movement, faster recharge, and you got all the extra damage that you're throwing out there. I definitely think it adds up, but not grossly so. You're like, oh my god, Kinetics is the only set to play. But yeah, so that's the big one. I wish I could have replaced this one and done maybe something closer to, 10 minutes would have been nice. Or had we just gone down, this was that one with the cave, right? That had the intersection. And we had a couple fights on the way. And at this point is when Angel's like, oh, hey, go left because she had used reveal. And we just kind of went around the corner, did another fight. And then there was the big room with the three groups in it. And that was it. We blew up the altar. Done. At the time, I think Wednesday said, "Hey, should we do more? Because we could have went this way and cleaned up some more. We could have went that way and done some more. Could have spent a few more minutes. Hindsight, I probably should have. But I'm not trying to make these fake. Where, oh, let's just go kill more stuff because I want more stats. That's easy way. But I want to try to at least make them challenging and realistic and enough enemies and time on the map that it actually, you know, is something you have to use your powers to complete, not just run, oh, boss, kill, and then leave. So that is the summary of the missions. Then we've done our statistical analysis, not the full Monty yet, but you'll see I've calculated rates for the 5 major stats. And I'm looking at personal defeats, team ally defeats, foe enemy defeats, and then my damage output, and then my damage that I'm taking. So those are the rates. How much of that stat per minute? I'm then using the standard error calculations to look at the averages and comparing them between my defender and my controller. So ultimately, I would have my average whatever, kills, let's say, versus the average on the controller. And hey, is that statistically a difference or not? And the way you do that is looking at standard error, because the average is just a bar graph with the peak of the bar being the average number, but then you have error bars that are added to that, and you look for overlap between the error bars. If there's overlap, then there's no statistically significant difference between the two numbers. If there is not overlap, then these would be statistically significant. You could sit here and say, oh yeah, this person had a greater stat than the other one. They're better or they're worse, whatever it is. And then the other stat I've just started clarifying is what I'm calling a composite. So I'm taking the rates, which are these average numbers, right? And we're dividing them by the number of teammates. So typically the team size is fixed at 5 people. So I have 4 teammates. And so if I have a consistent 4 teammates, if I take the rate and divide it by the same number 4 each time, then my composite is essentially the same thing as the rate anyway. But what I then do is look at it from a distribution graphic, a box and whisker plot. So what that's going to do is it's going to take that range of values that I got, these rates per each mission. So I've got 5 missions. Each mission has a rate, and then each mission has a number of teammates. So I'm dividing those mission stats, those rates, by the teammates. So if I have the same number of teammates and everything else is equal, I would expect to have the same stat each mission. Obviously, the missions are not identical, but if I'm doing roughly the same damage per minute, then it doesn't matter if my teammates if my teammates are the constant there, then I should have no difference. I'm always doing 50 damage per second, right? So what I'm hoping, or what I'm would expect is if that's a true statement, then I should see consistency in the distribution. In other words, my distribution, these box plots and the whisker plots that go with it, should be the same or very tight if there's consistency within the missions. So this should be a narrow range. If I'm seeing inconsistency, even though I have the same number of teammates and there's this very wide spread of data, then I have inconsistency. So what that suggests is if I have the same number of teammates and I'm getting a very narrow pattern, which is what you'd expect if everything's constant, then great, kind of matches what I'm suspecting. But if I get a wider range, then that suggests there's other variables happening here that are changing the data somehow. So it's kind of giving me a question of if the teammate number changes, do I see a change? So I do have a couple like that. But, you know, my initial hypothesis, and I know it's sort of, or I guess a null hypothesis, is that, hey, this should be narrow because the teammate number is always the same and my character's always doing the same thing every time. So if I see really narrow results, then that's a true, I guess, true-ish statement. But if I see wide results, then it's saying there's other variables at factor, you know, at play here. Damage resistances or damage vulnerabilities or something like that. Anyway, that's loosely what I'm looking for, or trying to see if I can make some sense out of it. So those are my data that I want to take a look at. And I've shown you a little bit of this, but I want to focus on the graph. So the survivability, and the other thing you're going to see here is across all 4 defender buff sets compared so far. So survivability is the number of times I'm defeated divided by the number of minutes. So the rate is, hey, how many times are you defeated per minute? I only had 1, then 0.0001, total of 2. So my rate was 0.043. So that's roughly 2 defeats every, hour, give or take. So it's not a huge number. And if you look across the 3, 4 defenders that we looked at, Kinetics is actually on par as far as self-safety, if that's a word, with electricity. And actually, that kind of makes sense because they're pretty much there's the same style of support. Electricity, EA, electrical affinity, is ally targeted buffs. So you sling your buffs at your ally and it bounces around and you get heals and stuff. Similarly, Kinetics over here is foe targeted. So I sling my powers at foes and get buffs like heals. So they're kind of effectively doing the same thing. They're both reactive defensive types of sets. So if there's trouble, you need to react with some sort of, click that's going to give you a heal or extra endurance or something like that. And both sets are target hunting. You're either hunting an enemy or you're hunting an ally. So they play very similarly, I think. And I'm seeing that in at least this stat. Hey, as far as the survivability goes, they're about on par with each other. Now, that doesn't mean, based upon what you're seeing here, that they're like both terrible survivable sets. They are the worst 2 of the 4, where I didn't have any defeats with, time, but that was just, that one set of 5. And nature was pretty strong with an 015, but you can see there's some overlap here and there's some overlap here. So effectively, electrical, nature, and kinetics are not statistically different from each other. So even though it looks like, oh my God, there's a huge difference, there's not, statistically speaking, because of the overlap of the error bars. The only one I don't really have any data for is time, because I never died. Had I died once, then all of a sudden this thing would actually have some error bars and it would probably look identical to the other 3. So at this point, I don't think any one particular defender buff set is giving you more survivability than the other ones, because the numbers of deaths are pretty low regardless. I'm only dying once, twice, 3, 4 times at most. All right, then the other thing we'll take a look at is the spread of the data here. And this is that composite that I was talking about. So I took these rates up here, the rate of each per mission, and then divided it by the number of teammates. So if the number of teammates is constant, you're expecting the same number of deaths per minute per teammate, right? Because it's essentially the same value as the rate up here. But if you're seeing a wide spread, then it's suggesting there's a lot of variation going on in that team, other than the number of teammates. So taking a look at this, you could see that the spreads, and again, these are not huge numbers, right? We're like 0.25 stuff like that. But so far, Kinetics has the most variable in the survivability. So in other words, my deaths per minute per teammate were kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but they were a wider spread than, let's say, nature. Nature more consistent, more of a tight distribution, that the number of defeats per minute per teammate was consistent per team. So it's kind of suggesting that maybe this is a, doesn't really suggest anything at this point. I don't know, but maybe you could say, oh, well, that's because nature's just a more consistent set and you can rely upon it. It could argue towards reliability. It could also kind of point towards, stuff like kinetics and electrical, which are showing the wider spreads, are more, because they're reactive buff sets, they're more inconsistent. You have to be, Johnny on the spot with that heal or clicking that target, exactly at the right time. Where the sets that are more patchy and just kind of click a buff and you're done, they're more consistent. They're more, bread and butter. Where these guys are, wild card. Oh my God, what's going to happen? I think it could argue to that, and that could kind of give you more of a flavor metric. In other words, hey, are you looking for a wild ride where it's you don't know what the hell's going to happen? Well, then play kinetics or electrical, because who knows? As opposed to, hey, you just want, a sure thing. Well, play time, play nature. Maybe. I don't know if that's a true statement or not, but I'm going to have to kind of look at all the data once I have it from all the sets, and also look at it with the controllers in mind too, because if it is arguing towards consistency of play style, then I would expect to see the same kind of patterns with the controllers. And we'll know that when we have all the data. All right, then the next stat, which has a little bit more meaning, is the ally defeats. And taking a look at this across the board, the only thing I can say kind of for a certainty at this point is that electrical affinity is statistically less safe for your allies than the other three. The other three are all within overlapping standard errors of each other. So these are all effectively the same safety for your allies. So if you're going to team up, with a nature timer, kinetics defender, or at least in the combos that I put together, it's going to be about the same number of deaths for you as any of the other ones. If you are, however, teamed up with the electrical, your chances of dying are like 3 times as much. And it's statistically significant. Like, that is a real difference. So, hey, electrical is the least safe for allies. I can say that based upon this data conclusively. Why that is, I don't know. Could have just been those particular teams. Could have been those particular missions. It could have been that electrical affinity was my first time out the gate, and I had to kind of get my legs under me. I don't know. Then looking at the composite again, sort of that idea of how consistent are your adventures. This time around, kinetics was the most consistent. It had the tightest spread. Whereas, something like nature had some really outlying data. Could have been one bad mission. Skews your data really high. And the other thing you can look at with these is that similar idea of overlap. Are your distributions, which are the bulk of the data represented by the boxes themselves, the rectangles themselves, are they all overlapping? Which they are. So they're all within tolerance of each other. They're all within about the same range. But you do see some more inconsistency with this nature in particular. But this argues towards one major outlier. I'd have to go back and look at that data and see, hey, was there one really bad mission where a bunch of people got killed on that one? Because, oh yeah, that's when all 3 people died on that same one. Other than that, it was perfectly safe. That could explain this. Where I'm looking at electrical here, I'm seeing again a wider range, got some high numbers, got some low ones. It's, inconsistent. Hey, is that because just electrical affinity is more gut check and, things are flip a coin if it's going to work or not? Could be. All right, then we go on to lethality, foe defeats. Looking at these, very consistent here. electrical, nature, and kinetics are all given about the same amount of offensive, just putting somebody down at the end, which again seems a little bit, weird because thinking, well, kinetics, isn't this the offensive juggernaut? But I think when you look back at that video, there was a lot of offense. It just wasn't mine. The freaking blaster was unloading. I think a lot of the damage, and I can't say I had to watch Wednesday's video to see how her tank's damage output was. But if all my teammates' damage was getting tripled from what they normally were expecting, that could explain their kills were much higher. And so while I'm in there spending that 60-40 buff to blast ratio, by the time I'm hitting those blasts, like you saw me dropping my big nukes, which did a lot of damage, but by the time I was able to unload the big blast to kill, my blaster had already unloaded their huge nuke because the blaster isn't doing 60-40 buff to blast. They're doing like 10-90, right? They're like aim, build up, nuke, boom, if they're doing even that. So they're able to just completely unload their damage, whereas a defender, you're playing that dual role. So I'm looking at this and going, oh, it's not that Kinetics sucks offensively. I just think the offense it was dealing wasn't to myself. But even so, it's no it's no different than nature or electrical. The only one I can say right now that is interesting is that the time defender was the most lethal, and this is a statistical significant difference between the other ones. So we can say, hey, that time dual pistols defender was my most lethal combo. Hands down it was. All right, then what else we got to take a look at? You've got the composite data here. And, I think this is kind of showing you where we're starting to see the distributions are different, right? Like we can say, hey, these guys don't overlap. So time was more consistently, its data was a little bit, wider spread than like kinetics, for instance. Kinetics was very tight again, right? So the kineticist was essentially killing the same number of people per minute every single time. Whereas my time was a little bit more distributed and it was more distributed higher. So time was killing more often than kinetics for sure. It's upper limits of nature and electrical, so electrical's best missions were, times worst, and the same thing with nature. Whereas kinetics, its average was pretty tight and it was below average defeats of enemies than compared to times. So that's what we can kind of look at there. And the X's, by the way, are those average values. All right, then let's take a look at your damage output. So let's see how this plays out. Already looked at the pets and stuff. Threat levels. So here we're taking a look at your damage output from all sources combined. And pretty consistent again. I mean, we've got electricals overlapping with nature, is overlapping with kinetics. It looks like time is a little bit above everybody, but it's just within electrical's reach. So damage output wise, time is, I wouldn't say the clear winner here, but it's certainly statistically more damage per minute than nature and kinetics were. But it's within the upper reach of electrical. Remember, electrical was the one that I was taking advantage of electric blast, and electric blast was the end drain was leading to extra damage boosting. So I had a lot of drain targets that I was getting extra damage out of. So that made this a little bit higher than perhaps it should have been, because the damage was from the electrical blast stacking with itself or amplifying itself, not because of electrical affinity per se. So let's say you had taken electrical blast and married that with kinetics, maybe that would have brought this whole thing up. So I think this could be a little bit misleading on this one, just given that sort of wild card, uh, you know, possibility there that you really can't account for that specific endurance drain factor or not. But overall, fairly consistent. Time's got a little bit of an edge, but not huge. And then we look at the composite data, the rates per teammate, pretty tight data again. Nobody is clearly leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. Again, time is averaging more damage output per minute per teammate, right? Their higher numbers are up here. Kinetics is pretty tight again, pretty consistent per minute per teammate. I think this might argue, as I'm thinking about it now, this could argue that Kinetics is the most lockstep. Kinetics is the most lockstep with its teammate, right? Because the other ones, there's other things happening that are making the data a little more spread out. Where here, you're more just tied to your teammate number, I think. I wonder if it would be interesting. I say I don't have the data to actually say that specifically, but it'd be a cool thing to do. Let's say a team of 4 versus a team of 6, something like that, or team of 2, and just see if this number stays tight. But it actually, here's the team of 2, and here's the team of 6. That per teammate thing, is it have it that sort of movement in there or not? It'd be interesting to see data like that, but it's pretty consistent. So it seems like we're kind of locked in with our teammates, that we're going to do the same thing every time, where these other guys seem to be less tied to their teammates, and they're doing different amounts each time. Again, not huge numbers, and I can't write a publishable paper on that, but some potential hypotheses to explain it. Then your last stat is your resilience. This is your damage you're taking. This go around, look, I took 0 cold damage this entire time. This is why, if you're building for cold damage in this game, I really think you're making a mistake, which is sad because, you got all these ice armors out there that do cold resistance, but there's so few cold attacks in the game that it's kind of like a pointless thing. Like, if you had to choose, and I hate to kind of be, min-maxy like that, but just think about it. If you had to choose from all these different types of damage to have resistance or whatever too, why would you pick cold other than for theme reasons, right? It's just one of the least um, exposed or encountered, I guess is a better word, damage types out there. So I don't think building for cold is smart unless you specifically are knowing you're going to be fighting a bunch of cold damaging things. I think this also gives the developers an area to look at as, hey, we need some more cold damaging enemies out there that are we're talking the 50 plus game, right? The only ones I can think are like the specters, those cot. Some of the cot have some cold damage. Really, that's Malta. You get some of the icy pistols out there from the gunslingers, but really, there's no other major cold damaging enemies out there. So that might be something to take a look at. Um, Throw that into the game a little bit. That might catch some people by surprise. But toxic is usually pointed out as, hey, one of the least damages out there, but shoot, cold's even less. And here's smashing. I didn't encounter very much smashing this go around either. A bunch of lethal, a bunch of negative, all those stupid galaxies, bullets and caltrops here. All right, but anyway, let's look at the other numbers here. And before I get to the side by sides with the actual resistance, one thing I do want to point out is the liability ratios. This is that ratio of out to in. So, as your damage out is increasing versus your damage in, if that's also increasing, then you're going to have a fairly static difference here, quotient. But what you can see is, and again, I'm seeing some statistical significance here, it is statistically significant. Time is producing almost 19 times more output damage than taking in. And that is much better than the other 3, 5, 8, and 7 from Kinetics. So Kinetics, remember, was doing good, decent chunks of output damage, but I was also taking some of those huge input damage hits. Electro, I remember, was taking a whole bunch of incoming damage on this character. Nature wasn't too bad, but time was just like a freaking beast. I was taking very little incoming damage with my time dual pistols build. So that's the liability ratio showing you. Time pistols was superior, like 3-4 times. Well, sorry, about 2 to 3 times better than these other sets combos that I was putting out there. And that's statistically shown here. And then the last 2 graphs are these guys. This is the rate. So this is the amount of incoming damage per minute. Looking for statistical differences, and really don't see any, right? So Electrical had the most damage taken per minute, but it overlaps with Kinetics, so it's not crazy over the top. Whereas Kinetics I think I was taking a few spikes. But also remember my build. In my build, I have like pretty much no defense and minimal resistance. So I'm not built to take a hit. So this number is a little bit misleading. You know, if I built a little bit more defensively, then this would be, I don't know, 400 or something like that. I'd be closer to nature. But I think, yeah, these three are probably pretty close. I still think electrical is probably too high. At least I don't know, the build I had just wasn't very good at taking hits. But right now, you know, electrical does fit within the upper limits of kinetics. And then these two guys, they fit within the lower limits of kinetics. So there's kind of very, you know, good consistency here. But, you know, electrical is not the strongest defensive set. From what I can say pretty unequivocally right now that electrical affinity is the least defensive supporting sets, and that time seems to be the most supporting defensive set, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. And times also is putting out a whole bunch of damage, so that's the other interesting thing. But time had a very inconsistent distribution of its data. So it had some really good stuff and had some really bad stuff. Kinetics, not so bad. I mean, it was pretty widespread. Bit of a wild ride defensively. You're taking a few big hit missions, and then you're taking a couple missions where you're hardly taking any damage. So again, we have some variation here, but I think this one's probably going to be, this stat's probably going to be the most inconsistent of all the ones you're going to look at, just because each enemy group that you face is going to do different damages, and you're going to have different resistances and defenses. So it'll depend on, you know, your matchups, and it also depend on your teammates. You know, you have a tank that's pulling aggro for you or not. You know, that's a whole nother question. All right. That, my friends, I believe is the last little bit I wanted to talk about here for Chakra. But there it is. Yeah, that's the video. Saw some interesting things. Stuff that has me scratching my head a little bit. And I also see some things that, you know, I would do differently if I could go back and run it again. And I'm also wish I could get the data, the damage data from my teammates, because that would be an interesting look just to see if they, like, if I had the same teammate with each of these four guys, I'd like to see their damage outputs as you go across. Because hey, all of a sudden, are you looking at their damage with the kineticist is like triple what they had been doing, whereas when they were at the time, they hardly had any damage boosting. Because I don't think I had temporal selection with my time defender. I forgot if I did or didn't, but I don't think I did. That's the one, like, you know, plus damage boosting power you have in time. So it'd been interesting to see that data, but you know, beggars can't be choosy. All right, well there you go. That's all I can do, and hopefully there was some interesting information there for you if you're into the math and the strategy tactics. Thought we saw some good stuff there in the vids. All right, and in the meantime, my next vid is going to be the head-to-head comparison between Chakra here, now that we have all his numbers, and Budakash, because we ultimately want to answer that question: who is better between these two as far as kinetics goes? And then that's going to take us then to our final level of DEFCON, DEFCON 1. We've got one more buff set we're going to compare. And I kind of feel like nobody's going to guess this one, but it'll be interesting. So if you think you know what the next set's combo is going to be, post it down in the comments section below. In the meantime, have yourselves a good one and peace out.